And it's times like this you feel pretty bad. It's times like this where I said, man, I wish I found one of those big old treasures. Went on a treasure hunt, found a massive fortune, I don't know, $200-300 million worth of something. I could help the Indians who've been crapped on from the Spaniards, conquistadors, the white man. I mean, fix some of that. Orphanages like White Dove wants, or get some, and just put some programs out there to help, parents that, are borderline losing their kids. Now, I will say this clearly isn't foster care, so that's good. When your child goes to foster care, that ain't good. But I pull up and I see this little girl and her father. Now that bike is upside down. He's messing with the front tire, and at one point he's just checking the air in it, pushing on it. So I don't know what he's really doing. But he's telling his kid, like, don't go back there. Stay right here and sit down. And then as he was talking to her, I saw his mouth and his teeth. And typically, when people have really bad rotten teeth, it is usually a sign of drug use, certain drug. So I'm not gonna say I know that this was not what that was, but that's just typically what I saw. And I immediately saw that bunch of missing teeth, and the ones that were there were really bad looking. But he has his daughter with him. This is a man that, once you get into drugs, there's no telling. Is he 40? Is he 45? Is he 30? But he looks like he's 50. Don't know. Rough shape. If you are an adult and you have a child and you're riding basically a BMX bike, that style bike is like a BMX or like a trick bike. Like the old Diamondbacks, the Mongoose. They've got the pegs on the front and the back. That kind of thing. So maybe not BMX bikes, but more like a trick bike. In other words, there's no car. This day and age, everybody has a car. When you're an adult and you have a kid that's 4 or 5 years old, typically you have a car. Now, sometimes you say, well, wait, no, I'm not in New York City. I live in New York City. There's no need for a car. But you could get a car, right? Okay. I believe this individual couldn't get a car, just, again, based on my observations. So I'm seeing this poor little girl who's probably 6, 7. And, my heart's crushed seeing this, man. At least she's not in foster care. But, again, you can't sit here and judge. You can't judge with all this 100% certainty. But, again, you get to know things. You know what I mean? Like the teeth, he had, not that tattoos really mattered, but he's riding a bike. Again, this is stuff I learned when I was volunteering for the sheriff's office, and you see this kind of stuff, and you talk to the deputies, and they tell you all about it, and it's the same story over and over and over again. So, while I say what I'm telling you is most likely, I can't say that it's 100% true. That, this guy may be a drug user, and, all I see is a couple of struggling human beings. One of them's a child. Wouldn't it be nice to have some kind of program or something to help this guy, and I know there's some out there, but I don't know, my youngest child is 9, little Ashley, and I'm like, what would I do if that was me right there on that bike doing that stuff, knowing where's my life at right now? I've got my kid over here right off the side of the interstate, and I'm on a BMX bike or whatever. That's my mode of transportation. And the tires, by the way, were completely wore out. There was like no tread on the tires. So again, typically you don't, if you got money, you'll have a little bit nicer bike and tires. So a couple struggling people, one's a kid. And I'm thinking, I would be driven so hard to go do something, anything, to provide, a little bit better for my child. But again, as I say, walk a mile in somebody's shoes. No idea what it's like walking in this guy's shoes. But I could just, again, when my heart sinks, and as I pull up, my heart's sinking, seeing this, and then just sat there at the light thinking, even if you said, hey man, here's $20, like, what do you think he's going to use it on? his kid, or the reason why his teeth are, rotting out of his mouth and he has a few left, and the ones that are left have the typical signs. Again, I learned this at the sheriff's office, seen plenty of people. Typical signs of a drug user. Every single sign was there, FYI. But again, can't say for certain. We don't know. And I'm not picking on the guy. I'm just seeing a child, and when you see a kid, man, struggling, what the hell's the parent doing? What's this? You kind of get a little. Well, hey, at least he's not in foster care, so that's good. But when you're out on a bicycle right off the interstate here, on a highway, is she on the pegs on the back, holding on to you as you drive the bike? Like, gosh. I'm hoping Donald Trump can make America great again, so we have a lot less of this kind of thing where there's more opportunity for people to better their lives and that sort of thing. And I would hope this guy would be a recipient of that, I want everybody to win. I want everybody to be what winners. And it just breaks my heart to see this kind of stuff. It almost felt like, let me take your little girl. I'll raise her, it's probably not real. It may be her father, but again, your heart goes out like, oh, well, who wants a child to grow up in those conditions, basically? But, again, you tell them they go into foster care because of something the parent did, and next thing you know, the kid's getting, groped by some pedophile in the foster care system, which was 1,000 times worse than when they were with their actual parents who were doing something bad or whatever. But on a scale of 1 to 10, what their parents were doing was a 3. What the foster parent may have done is a 10 on badness. And again, we did foster care for a while before we had kids. And they teach you immediately, oh, the kids will make up stories about the foster parents. So just FYI. And I'm like, what kind of stories? Well, that they're touching them in places they shouldn't touch them, that kind of stuff. The kids just make that up. Well, we think the parents tell them to say these things to the kid, to tell the kid, hey, tell the people, us, that the foster parent has done that, touched your private part. And, I'm like, and we're like, well, for what reason? Well, they think they'll get their kid back because, something bad had happened to the kid, so they'll get the kid back. So a parent's not going to think, well, they'll just go to another foster parent. I bet there's so many kids complaining and not making it up. So many kids complaining in the foster care system of real things happening to them that the people think that run it, oh no, these kids are all making this up. This is absurd. There's too many. Not realizing how many sick individuals who say, oh my gosh, they're going to bring right to my house. I don't have to go snatch a kid off the street. No, they're going to bring him right to my house. And I can close the door at night and I can lock the door. And nobody can see anything that I want to do, right? There's sick people out there. There are. So that's a whole nother story, whole other story. But again, with Trump, I hope making America great again and dealing with these pedo criminals we all have talked about. Maybe this won't be an issue in the future, but then again, people are people. And some people are just sick pups and they exist. And anyways, I just wanted to share this little thing on my way home. Take care.